You enter the world as nothing more than a pink jelly bean, smaller than a grain of rice, with no sight, barely any limbs, and only one driving instinct: reach the pouch or die trying. You're not alone in this desperate struggle. Around 30 of your siblings emerge alongside you, all competing for just 4 available nipples inside your mother's pouch. The math is brutal. 4 survivors, 26 casualties. Nature doesn't offer participation trophies in this competition. The journey from birth canal to pouch is your first monumental challenge. It's a blind, 3-hour crawl through your mother's fur. Your back legs are practically non-existent, but your front limbs are just developed enough to drag your microscopic body forward. You follow invisible chemical trails your mother has thoughtfully laid down, scent markers leading from her birth canal to the pouch entrance. Without these olfactory breadcrumbs, you'd have no chance at all. If you do make it to the pouch, and statistically you probably won't, the real battle begins. Finding the entrance was just the qualifier. Now you need to locate one of those 4 precious nipples inside the dark, warm chamber. When you finally find one and latch on, something remarkable happens. The nipple swells inside your mouth, essentially locking you in place. It's a biological seatbelt that ensures you won't be dislodged during your mother's rough-and-tumble daily activities. While you're safely attached, growing and developing, your unlatched siblings face a grim fate outside. Their lives end before they've truly begun, victims of the harshest selection process imaginable. You'll spend about 100 days in this pouch, transforming from that helpless pink speck into something that actually resembles a Tasmanian devil. Your mother doesn't take maternity leave during this time. She continues her regular routine, hunting, fighting, scavenging, with you and your 3 surviving siblings tucked safely in her pouch. Her milk is incredibly rich, allowing you to grow at an astonishing rate while protected from the dangers of the outside world. Around your 4th month, you'll finally venture outside the pouch, but you're not ready for independence yet. You'll cling to your mother's back while she moves around, and return to the safety of her den when she goes hunting. This gradual introduction to the world continues until you're about 8 months. By then, your mother's den has been your sanctuary, but now you're about to be evicted into a world that has no interest in your survival. Remember those screams you heard from the safety of the den? They're about to become your own voice as you learn the devil's language of terror and dominance. Your first year outside your mother's care is a crash course in survival. Think of it as Devil High School, except failing a class means you'll die. The curriculum? Learning to scavenge efficiently, communicating with other devils without getting killed, and figuring out your place in a society that communicates primarily through threats. Food becomes your obsession. Your jaws are still developing but will eventually pack a punch of 553 psi. A bite force stronger than a lion's relative to your size. This bone-crushing power isn't just for show. You'll need it to consume everything from deceased wallabies to wombats, leaving nothing behind. Bones, fur, organs. It all goes down the hatch. You're basically Tasmania's garbage disposal system with teeth. Your sense of smell is developing into your superpower, capable of detecting the sweet scent of death from kilometers away. But here's the catch. Other devils can smell it too, which leads to your first major confrontations around carcasses. These meetups are where you'll learn the complex social etiquette of devil society, which involves a lot of screaming. When another devil challenges you at a feeding site, you don't immediately fight. Instead, you open your mouth to a jaw-dropping 80 degrees, showing off your impressive dental work. Your ears flush bright pink with blood, a warning sign that you're not to be messed with. These displays are usually enough to establish who eats first without anyone losing an ear. The screams you produce during these standoffs would make horror movie directors jealous. These bone-chilling vocalizations, a mix of growls, screeches, and wails that sound like someone being murdered in the woods, gave your species its name when European settlers first heard them echoing through Tasmania's forests at night. They thought actual demons were lurking in the darkness. By your 2nd birthday, you've graduated to full independence. You'll claim territory spanning up to 10 square miles, marking it with your scent and defending it from trespassers. Your home range needs to be large enough to provide sufficient scavenging opportunities, but not so large that you waste energy patrolling it. Your carefully established territory is about to become a dating app and fight club rolled into one. At 2 years old, hormones flood your system, triggering behaviors that would make even the most seasoned wildlife observers flinch. The solitary life you've grown accustomed to suddenly transforms as you're drawn to areas with plentiful food sources, where other devils have also gathered with the same biological imperative. It's time to reproduce. If you're a male devil, prepare for combat. The competition for mating rights resembles a medieval tournament where knights fight to exhaustion, except there are no rules and definitely no medical care. These battles can rage for hours, leaving participants with serious wounds including torn ears, scarred faces, and deep bites. You'll use every ounce of strength and intimidation you've developed over your 2 years of life, often fighting multiple rivals before earning your chance to mate. Female devils are equally fierce during breeding season. Rather than passively accepting any male, you actively select partners based on strength, persistence, and dominance displays. The power dynamics might surprise you. Female devils frequently mate with multiple males during a single breeding season, a strategy that seems chaotic but contains hidden evolutionary brilliance. The mating process itself is a marathon, not a sprint. While most marsupials complete the act in minutes, devil mating sessions can last up to 8 hours. These extended encounters typically happen in dens where you're vulnerable to intrusion from competing devils. Romance isn't exactly part of the devil lifestyle. Female devils have evolved one of nature's most sophisticated reproductive adaptations. After mating with multiple males, you can store different sperm samples and selectively fertilize your eggs, essentially choosing the father of your offspring after the mating process has ended. This remarkable biological trick allows you to hedge your reproductive bets, selecting the genetically superior father without limiting your options beforehand. The clock ticks quickly after mating. Your pregnancy lasts just 3 weeks before you give birth, beginning the cycle again with a new generation of tiny joeys fighting their way to your pouch. The brutal mathematics of devil reproduction means most females only successfully reproduce once or twice in their short lives. Disease, predation, and the harsh Tasmanian environment claim many devils before they reach their 5th birthday. After surviving the brutal gauntlet of infancy and the battlefield of mating season, you've beaten odds that claimed most of your siblings. But nature has one final cruel test that no amount of screaming, biting, or territorial displays can overcome. A disease so uniquely devastating that it could accomplish in decades what evolution typically takes millions of years to do: erase your entire species from existence. The enemy is devil facial tumor disease, first spotted in 1996 near Mount William in northeastern Tasmania. This isn't just any disease, it's cancer that spreads like a contagious virus. When you bite another devil during feeding frenzies or mating rituals, you're not just asserting dominance, you might be exchanging living cancer cells that will implant themselves in the bite wounds around your face and mouth. Within months of infection, grotesque tumors begin to swell around your snout and jaw. As they grow, they distort your face beyond recognition, making it increasingly difficult to eat. Most infected devils face a grim 6-month countdown to starvation once symptoms appear. The disease's perfect transmission method, through the bite-heavy social interactions that define your species, has resulted in population crashes of over 80% in some areas of Tasmania. By age 3, when you should be in your prime, you now face a 50 to 60% chance of encountering this disease in many parts of Tasmania. The math is brutal. Your wild lifespan should be 5 to 6 years, but DFTD cuts that down to just 3 years for many devils. Barely enough time to contribute to the next generation.